Hey, you're listening to Worldwide Cuckoo's Nest, where I, your host, Anthony Martinez, will discuss topics revolving around cryptids, paranormal, aliens, and whatever falls into the realm of disbelief. Professionals in their field of research will also accompany me to bring a new perspective that I and you might have missed or aren't familiar with. And you, yes you, the listener, could join in at the show and discuss your experience with the abnormal, so sit down and enjoy. Welcome back. Today I have a very unsettling report that took place in Baltimore. Whether you believe it is up to you, but I wouldn't have grabbed this story if I didn't think it was real. The incident I'm going to be reading over is the axe head and its ball. The person who made the report is Tyreek. Tyreek aspired to be a basketball player. So in the complex where he lived had a single basketball court in the middle of the 5-story complex. Once school was over, he went back home and laced up his shoes every day he could. This day was no different. He was on the court playing with men, showing his worth, and as the day went on, the crowded court dwindled in size, until it was only him and the streetlights keeping him company in the night. Tyreek said when he made a pivot to jump off his foot, he slipped and the ball, when he released it, flew over the brick wall that encircled the basketball court. He ran outside to retrieve his ball. It took a good second to find it, but when he did, he went to go grab it. What he didn't expect was it to roll away from him. The complex he lived in had 3 separate buildings, one to the left and right, with the other bridging the two at their ends. The left complex was abandoned, and that is where the ball rolled into. Uneased by what he had just witnessed, Tyreek still needed the ball if he wanted to perfect his craft. He went inside. At the entrance, the ball was at the top of the stairs. Tyreek had a full understanding this was weird, but that wouldn't stop him even when his reasonable part of his brain is yelling at him, go home. It's hard to keep a ball if it didn't get stolen, popped, or lost. Buy one took food off the plate, at least with his family. Tyreek didn't really have a choice. No ball, no time on the court. That was out of the question. He took one step toward the ball, and he said it rolled out of sight. He began his climb, and when he reached the landing where the ball was, it wasn't there, but on top of the other flight of stairs. This continued until Tyreek reached the 3rd floor, which opened onto a corridor. His basketball was at his feet, and picked it up ready to, in his words, get the hell out of there. But as he lifted his head after grabbing his ball, he noticed at the end of the hallway something walking out of the area and into the back of the room. He couldn't tell the person who asked him what compelled him to follow. He said it might have been he was a kid being stupid, or whatever had that ball moving the way it was moving had a spell over him. Tyreek made his way to the end of the corridor. What he expected to see was a room, but it was another hallway. He noticed nothing abnormal until he saw a sharp tip reveal itself when it disappeared into the last room. It finally snapped into his brain. He needed to leave, but when he turned back, what he expected to see was the hallway he just came from. Instead, it was a living room. Shocked, he dropped the ball. The ball started rolling on the carpet floor and into a closed door that opened. Motionless, he didn't move an inch but leaned over to see what was inside the room. What he could see in the pitch-black room was a window covered in drapes with the moonlight seeping through, and before he leaned back, an axe-shaped object slowly crept at the side of the window and jolted back into the darkness when Tyreek noticed. A shiver shot through his body, and he stood in place out of fear. He didn't heard the ball rolling back to him. Let this place have it. Tyreek no longer wanted it. He just wanted to leave. Tyreek took one step toward the front door. Tyreek's head didn't move, but his eyes peered into the room where he saw the axe-shaped object. As he was side by side with this open room, there was nothing in front of the window until his next step got him out of view. And what was revealed was a thinly tall body that had a head shaped like an axe. When he got a glimpse of that, he ran for the door. Outside, he turned to where the stairs were, but his basketball was there as well. When he reached the stairs, he sped down to the bottom floor, and what he witnessed at the front entrance was the axe head. He felt numb. Tyreek knew this was the end, and when it made its way to him, he accepted it Everything became blurry for him, and he said the next thing he heard was a muffling sound, and he thought he had his eyes closed because they became entirely dark. This creature moved out of the way and hid somewhere, and he saw a little kid at the entrance. It was his brother, and when Tyreek finally recognized him, he collapsed. On that day, Tyreek stopped playing basketball. He said it was because of that incident. When his family could move, they left that place. Tyreek never felt normal since that day. His only interview about the situation was on a popular radio station. The reason Tyreek wanted to talk about it was to get it off his chest. He never told his family about what happened. People who lived there said they went inside to see if they would experience the same thing, but everybody has said they never saw the Axe-Head Man. With little research I did, that area in particular, it has a high number of missing persons cases. I'm not saying that Axe-Head got them, but maybe Tyreek was the lucky one. Whether or not you believe it, it's at least intriguing. And that's where I will leave you guys to wonder. Another app in the books. Until next time, don't get abducted or worse, go missing. This is Anthony, logging off.